since some of you seem to really enjoy that Buddhist discourse, let me make a pitch for reading the Sutanípāta, which is one of the earliest collections from the Pali canon. And Pali is interesting because that is probably the language that the Buddha was originally teaching, or something similar to that. And you could see it's similar to Latin being the language of the intellectuals, and in this region that would have been Sanskrit, and that would have been the language of the priests. But Pali would have been more like Italian, the vernacular language, the more like Jesus's parables and earthy teaching. And that's one of the fun parts about this, is that there's a lot of very practical information in this. And don't let the giantness of this book don't you? It's only about 150 pages in this is the actual text. The rest I have is commentary, because I also like the history of the ideas and the context as much as the ideas themselves. And apparently the commentaries are included as a safeguard against writers on early Buddhism grabbing quotes to prove things that the Buddha wasn't actually about. The very individualistic hermit idea, or Buddha as a radical skeptic, things aren't really supported by the tradition. So one of the powers of this is that, yes, some of these suttas, or teachings, are very much for monks and high-level stuff. But some of the key teachings on householders are in here too. And for someone like me who has kids who won't be able to spend a whole bunch of time. And I even saw a verse last night that really helped me that said, a peacock like myself will never approach the speed of a goose like a monk, because I can't sit here and meditate for 6 hours a day. I have kids and work to take care of. But there's a lot of great teachings in here for someone like me about how to live my life. And it's also interesting to see some of these suttas are probably some of the oldest, the closest to the original oral teachings of the Buddha. And so I do like this translation from Bhikkhu Bodhi with all of the commentaries, but it's more scholarly in some ways, though it's a very loving translation, as you can imagine. But I'd say pretty much any version of this that you can find will be good for you. You know, the ideas just make sense. It's a lot of really good advice. And so if you were just looking for a Buddhist text to dive into, I would recommend the Sutanípāta. Oh, and as always, I'm no kind of expert in this kind of stuff. I've read a couple of the key Buddhist texts and have some knowledge about the context of them from reading the history of religion, but I'm always happy to have corrections or to hear more or recommendations of other things. In fact, as someone said on the last one, Patanjali doesn't have all of that blood and gut stuff like it did in the last sutta I quoted. And thanks to Uncle Buck, Patanjali is going to be the next person that I'm reading, because I like the history of supernormal, and he always comes up.